In this episode of the Clarity Digital Pod, I interview Andrea Palten, Head of Marketing at Techstars and CEO of CMO Growth Guide, to unpack what it really takes for startups to succeed in today's shifting digital landscape. From the realities of early stage marketing to the rise of Generative Engine Optimization, GEO, and the attribution challenges of AI driven search, Andrea gives me straight talk, actionable frameworks, and some hard truths that I believe every founder, CMO, and agency leader needs to hear. All right, let's go. Hi, Andrea. How you doing today?
Good. How are you doing, Al?
Very good. Thank you. Nice to meet you. We connected on LinkedIn. Thank you for responding to my DM. I like what you're about to, which is CMO growth, and you're also a GEO, SEO expert, and you do a bunch of stuff that we do, but you do it more on consulting training side. And that's why I reached out to you to talk to you. But if you don't mind introducing yourself and what you do, that would be wonderful.
Yeah. Before I do the introduction, the same thing. When you reached out to me, I looked at your stuff. I'm like, oh, Clarity Digital. That's cool. They do the same stuff that I teach, but you actually do it and implement it, which is so important. Especially, I love GEO right now. But who am I? I am Andrea Palten. I've been in marketing for 20 plus years, and I currently head up the marketing for Techstars. It's the world's largest pre-seed investment accelerator in the world. We help founders get their lives and their businesses going. And then also I have my own business. I'm the CEO of it, and it's called CMO Growth Guide, where what we just talked about, I teach marketing to startups and some mid-sized companies just so they know what they can do on their own.
Great. Let's just talk about that. Do you think startups can actually do marketing on their own from your experience? When you teach them marketing, do they really get it? Or do they? I know they're smart, obviously, because obviously that they should be smart to get where they're at. But is this something that you recommend the founder of startup to also do marketing, or should he or she be focused on the business?
Yeah. So they don't have a choice a lot of times. So when I work with really early stage startups, founders, they don't have the money. So they have to do their own marketing. So that's when I come in, I simplify it in systems and say, this is the very least you need to do until you get big enough to hire your market. And so then we just talk about what should your homepage look like? What's your funnel? Like really the basics. Then I work with the marketers, because once they have money and then they can hire a marketer or marketing team, then I can work with them. And then we get more advanced. We talk more about a generative engine optimization and like really go into the weeds a little bit in some of the training that I do.
Yeah.
So I don't want the founder to wear all the hats, but a lot of times they have to. And so they have to do marketing. And so I just simplify it for them. But like you said, I recommend hire an agency like yours, hire a marketer, not like a CMO at this point. When you're first starting out, you need an execution person that can actually do the work for you. And that's always my recommendation once there's budget.
I'm glad you brought it up. I have worked for and with a few startups throughout my career, and too often they jumped in hiring a CMO, and obviously CMOs are seasoned, expensive. And now here you're spending most of your marketing budget on a salary where you should actually be spending on ads and creating content, things like that. I totally agree with you. And I like our approach to agency because we're more of a very flexible marketing agency. We could be fractional, we could be full-time. But what I've noticed is that when startups don't have a marketing roadmap, they tend to have a lot of wastes. You're trying things and they don't work. Some will work, some they don't work, and that's hence the need for a fractional CMO. And fractional CMO is probably a good idea for many startups, although even the early stages startups probably cannot afford it, because am I going to spend my $5,000 on a fractional CMO salary or give it to an agency like Clarity Digital to run my ads? So where do you draw the line when questions like that comes? It's, okay, we have $5,000 a month to spend now. What do we do with it? Do we how you prioritize that budget allocation?
I think the reason it's so complicated because there's not a one size fits all. So for example, I just worked with this new company that is starting out. the two co-founders are engineers. They're the most introverted engineers I've ever met. They cannot market at all.
Yes.
They can't. They have to hire a fractional CMO.
Okay.
They don't even need to have them on staff. It could literally be like, get the person in, do a roadmap, like you said, then they go away. That's it. It's like a really short opportunity. And then that roadmap is given to an agency like yours.
Yeah.
So that's for them. Then I'm working with a founder that used to do marketing and sales. So this person gets it. They don't need to get a fractional CMO. They just literally work with me. They learn a couple of things. They're like, okay, I like this. Okay, I have to do a funnel. They put something on paper again, then work with an agency like you, or hire a junior person that just implements on their team, depending on budget and what they want to get out of it. So that's why it's a hard question. It's just not a one size fits all. It really depends on who the founder is, because some founders are brilliant at marketing and some founders are absolutely horrid. And I'm like, just don't try it.
Yeah, that's a really good answer. I do work with a startup right now. I think my friend would be okay mentioning them, getmyauto.com, and they provide CRM and automotive tech solutions for car dealers. And the CEO of a company, Emir, he and I were school buddies. This guy knows everything. He knows sales, he knows marketing, he knows tech. He's just very smart. And he just needs someone to own stuff. So to 100%, he doesn't need a lot of hand holding. They have their stuff together. They have the sales down really well, and we're just helping them with marketing. We're running their ads, doing the SEO, working with them right now to redesign the website. And yeah, I've also worked with startup owners that are very focused on. They were good at, let's say, if they were programmers, they were tech people, or we work with this manufacturing startup that the owner was in a warehouse or in a manufacturing plant all the time, and he didn't read our emails. We would send weekly emails or whatever, and he was very like bottom line focused. So there is it all depends on the personalities and expertise. But let's just talk about more specifics about what you actually specifically teach. If you can get into the details just a little bit, but as time allows.
Yeah. So I have 3 courses. I make it super simple. I have one course that's called the AI GEO visibility system. So that's the generative engine optimization that you help implement. So I just teach like, what is it? How is it different or the same as SEO? And how can you implement the basics on your own? So I teach a lot about how to write blog posts, how to do FAQs and Q&As on your website. I even have a way to put some schema coding in the back end of the website. It's very simple. It's very much for people that don't have any money yet to hire a marketer or an agency.
Yeah.
The next one, same thing. It's the homepage conversion system. These are all systems, because systems is what I make sure don't do everything. There's just certain systems you need. And it just shows you how to set up your homepage, because I'm not going to lie, I would say 90% of the startups that come to me, their homepage is crap.
Yeah.
It's so many. It's surprising. That was actually a huge surprise for me when I started working with founders, and I was like, okay, I need to teach this. And it's a really simple system, what you need on your homepage to make people click through and convert and do things. And then I have a big old course, and that's the startup marketing system, where I teach them like, okay, who's your target audience? How do you figure out your target audience? How do you figure out your niche? How do you set up some kind of like funnel, lead magnets, lead generation, lead nurturing? How do you get them to convert into buyers? And then how do you get testimonials and referrals? And so it's like really the whole funnel. Again, this is very much the basics, right? This is the setup that you need. And then after this, once you start growing and start making money, you go hire your marketing team, you go hire Clarity Digital and figure out how to scale.
Yeah.
Setup, really.
Very cool. Let's also talk about a funnel. I think the marketing funnel varies from industry to industry. And nowadays with ChatGPT and AI, generative AI, it's even become more complicated. There's this thing called, I think the proper term is dark funnel, where you don't know where people are at because they're in ChatGPT and you don't necessarily know. And ChatGPT doesn't drive traffic to your website all the time. It doesn't show you the blue links depending on your prompt. For example, every morning I go for walks and I use this other tool, Perplexity, and I speak to Perplexity. Literally, I have it in the voice mode. As I'm walking, I'm speaking to it like a real person. I'm strategizing my day. I'm planning my day. if something in my mind, whether it's personal, professional, I communicate. So that's not a search anymore. That's just a complete communication. And I don't know where ChatGPT or Perplexity getting those information from. So all this content you're creating, you're feeding the AI engine, you're teaching it, but it doesn't necessarily give you credit, right? And it doesn't drive traffic back to your website. But that doesn't mean that it's not important, right? So you have to continue creating content to be part of the equation, to part of the ecosystem, but it doesn't necessarily give you immediate traffic. So how do you at least educate your marketers that, hey, this is going to happen and you can't really put attributions on it, but you have to do it anyways? Because to tell the truth, I'm asking this because I'm having a hard time persuading some of my clients that they need to keep creating content, even though it's not driving traffic back to their website.
I know. It's actually a huge problem because I meet with people like you and CMOs constantly, and we're all like, attribution is dead.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's scary because that's an easy one to measure. Okay, look, I got clicks from this podcast. I
Yeah.
got purchasers from this. That's going away. And I just my first thing is always when I talk to marketers is get ready. We're going to be looking at metrics a little bit differently. And honestly, brand is coming back in. Brand awareness is going to be big. When I first started marketing 20 years ago, it was all about brand awareness,
Yes. Yes.
And then it became into attribution funnels and how many clicks are you getting and stuff like that. And now, because like you said, when people go into Perplexity or ChatGPT, they don't click back to your website. They just read about you.
Yeah.
So you want to have that ChatGPT or that Perplexity say, Clarity Digital does XYZ. Al Safadi is the owner of da 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 da. So you need to train it to utilize your name. And then it's up to the reader to then find you, right?
Yeah.
And that is just something, it's get ready. Things are going to change right now. A lot of that stuff is not happening. I do think in the future, the ChatGPTs and the Perplexities, they're going to make it easier. We'll click through real easily to the websites. So I do think the clicks will
I
be
agree too.
coming back. But right now it's, oh, what's happening? So I think it's just be agile, keep moving, keep learning. Like ChatGPT 5 just came out right before this podcast. That's something that I'm like learning right now. I do the same thing you do. I have a dog on dog walks, but I talk to my ChatGPT. I don't use Perplexity that much anymore just because I had too many. I was using all of them and I was like, this is crazy. And then I just decided on ChatGPT right now. But I love Perplexity, especially for research. It's
I have ChatGPT too. I use it for different things. I have a bunch of custom GPTs, and I'm getting more into agentic AI right now. I use Claude for vibe coding a lot. So I have some paid subscription to all of these, and also we're Google, our email systems under Google. So we have the Gemini as well. And I'm seeing they're all good at something. I think Gemini is really good when you're searching. You're in your Google Doc and you're searching for things. Or one of my clients sent me a huge deck. I'm like, oh, I have to go through this deck. I just asked inside my Google Drive. I asked Gemini to give me a summary of the deck, and that was amazing. I didn't have to
love their summaries.
I didn't have to copy paste it into ChatGPT. Obviously, in ChatGPT, I have a bunch of custom GPTs, as I mentioned, and Perplexity because of research mainly. I do a lot of research, and basically, essentially, Perplexity is like ChatGPT, but with a very good prompt. You don't have to worry so much about prompting. But let's keep staying on the attribution, because we offer a service called digital PR, which is essentially PR, but with a focus on digital. And every time I try to pitch it to a client, including very smart CMOs, okay, you got to show me what type of traffic I'm going to get. And I'm like, no, that's the whole point. It's not about traffic. It's not about organic traffic, although that's an indirect impact. You will eventually get more traffic. But it's really hard to, your KPIs is just mentions right now, digital mentions, and maybe backlinks, and that's it. That's a KPI that I can provide for you. You have to understand the value of it. So what do I have to do in order for them not to ask those questions anymore? And because you're the teacher and I'm not, so I'm trying to teach you, look, in order for you to understand this value of digital PR, you have to first understand that you need it. And you shouldn't come to me, oh, how much more traffic I will get and how much more sales or leads will I get? Because I don't know. I'm just trying to lift you up in the GEO, as we call it, in the generative AI visibility. I'm trying to lift your visibility. And when they pose me questions like that, I'm like, okay, let's go back to school. And a lot of times I don't have time to take them back to school and teach them the one-on-ones. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is not the right product for you yet. But I'm thinking maybe I should spend a few minutes educating them. So how can I do that? How would you do that?
So maybe I need to put a course together, educate them, and then send them to you afterwards for implementation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an education thing. You have
Yeah.
to educate them. It's unfortunately, I think I'd have to look into exactly like what you're selling and how you do that.
Yeah.
But for me, it would just be like talking about how the attribution model has changed, right?
Yeah.
We used to have first click, last touch models and things like that. And now it's more of a linear model, and people are coming in every which way. So the way that I create when I talk about the funnel, I don't show it as a funnel or as a funnel anymore. I
Yeah.
show it as a circle.
It's like a
And I'm
journey.
like, people are coming in all directions, they're leaving, then they're coming back in, and then just show them examples of how that.
I would love to see one of your presentations. I don't know if you charge for it or not, because I don't like the traditional funnel, because it's just, I think just the name funnel. I like the term
Yeah,
customer journey, to be honest with you,
totally.
because
Yeah.
it's so scattered, and I, when it comes to even multi-channel attribution, we do a lot of that. We work with e-commerce
Yeah.
and a couple of e-commerce clients, and they're like, okay, our PPC and organic is bringing a lot of traffic. Let's double down on that and let's reduce money from social media. And I'm like, no, like social media is assisting these channels to convert.
Yeah.
And then I have to like give them examples, like, hey, you know what? And like in basketball, not everybody scores. Some players catch rebounds. Some players make assists, right?
Yeah.
If you cannot hire a bunch of Kobe Bryants and Michael Jordans or LeBron James. You have to hire like other players too
Yeah.
to make it into a team and think about it as a team sport.
Yeah.
And one thing I constantly find myself, even with the most seasoned CMOs, like we're talking about people that have been a CMO of Microsoft, and they're still like this last click attributions. And I found this new era of marketing, which is going to be not very attribution focused, brand focused. I find it to be somewhat challenging. And the reason I'm bringing that is because there's a lot of CMOs. I attend a couple of CMO networking groups. There was one right before this call that I was on. And a lot of CMOs nowadays are just lost, like how they can take credit for the work. And mind you, that CMO position is also one of the shortest tenure among all the C-suite. So 2 years, right? Is that what it is? Is that what you meant? Yeah, it's about 2 years. So they need to prove KPIs, or else they're not going to be able to keep their job. So they're under pressure as well from their peers.
Yeah.
So I think we marketers need to also get better at educating non-marketing people, like what you do, marketing, educating CEOs, CFOs. So
Yeah.
I said all these things because I have a question for you. How do you educate CEOs, CFOs, CTOs, founders that are never going to be marketing people, even if the company grows? How do you go about that?
Yeah. And it's a problem because it's hard to do right now. This shift, and again, in the future, I think it'll be easier again. But right now, it's like everybody. I know so many CMOs that have lost their jobs that are looking right now, and they
And
can't.
they're not going to get back.
And
Yeah.
the CEOs are like, I don't need a CMO. I get AI, and we're like, oh my god, this is crazy. And I do think this is like an ebb and flow where eventually we're going to go back to normal, and people are going to want to have
It's going to
market
normalize
again.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So for what I'm noticing, I have about like 4 brands right now that I'm really looking at their traffic and their website traffic, and it's all dipping on all of them. Some of them are giant and some of them are tiny companies. They're dipping. Everybody's dipping. So then, of course, the CFOs, like you said, are like, hey, what are you doing? You're not bringing me any money. Why do I have to keep you? So one of the things that I'm doing right now is I'm using new tools that are out there that are AI visibility tools. There's one that's for free right now. I don't know how long it's going to stay for free. It's
What
called
is it called?
Gumshoe AI.
Ooh, okay.
Super cool company. So I put in all my brands there, and they show the visibility of how often you come up in certain terms.
I didn't know this one. Thanks.
Yeah, so definitely it's a cool tool. I've been working with them a little bit. They gave this to me for free, and they're going to figure out how they're going to use this. It's brand new, so that it's in flux. It's changing all the time. But I'm already noticing one of the brands that I worked with that we implemented the AI, they're better. They're showing up more in AI tools like ChatGPT than their number one competitor. That's a bigger competitor.
Yeah.
And that's literally just because I taught them how to implement AI GEO stuff on their website. So that is enough. because they're just like, this works, good, awesome, Andrea, you're getting paid, right? So that's the kind of tools that we're going to have to be looking at. We cannot look at the traditional, how many website clicks do you get? We got to get away from Google.
I'm 100% with you. And if you don't mind, I'm going to share the screen for audience. This is a website, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And then you can do like a report in there. I have 3 or 4 reports in there, so you can do multiple ones. But I do think this right now it's free because they're launching it. I think eventually you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
And then you have to ask, it's going to take you a lot. The setup takes a while.
Yeah.
You have to really concentrate.
I like it.
And stuff. It's so cool.
I created my own little, sorry, I interrupted. Please finish.
No, and then it shows you every week if you're growing or not. And when you're a startup, I don't want you to be scared. When you come in there, it might be like you have 0.08% visibility in the AI tools. Don't get scared. That's okay. It's your starting point. You're going to go up. Like one of the big brands I work with, it's a world famous brand, and they have 38%. So if the brand like that has 38%, 0.8 is okay when you get started.
Yeah, I'm in process of, I created an audit tool for LLMs, but I'm also in process of creating a tool using, because I know how to code a little bit from my back in the days, computer science. And now let me stop sharing the screen. Now with vibe coding is a lot easier. So I'm working on that. But meanwhile, I will definitely try this tool. Yesterday, actually, I upgraded a client SEMrush because they introduced it for like $100 a month. And it's pretty interesting. The way we work is that we don't have our own in-house tools. We ask clients to buy their own tools. That way they own their own data. And then they give us log, give us a seat. And this particular client is an e-commerce client. And I told them, look, we have a good idea about what's going on with your Google and organic traditional search engines, but we know very little about what's happening in ChatGPT and all these LLMs. Obviously, in the Google Analytics Looker CA dashboard that we created for them, we can see the referral traffic coming from those sources, but that's traffic. We don't know anything about visibility. So SEMrush or SEMrush, however you call it, had introduced an add-on about $100 a month, and it does a good job. But if you don't have $100 a month, I'm very happy to learn about Gumshoe. I just don't know if I like the name. it's like Gumshoe.
Well, do you remember the detectives back in the day used to be called gumshoes?
Okay, I get it.
And I don't remember where that came from, but I don't even know, but I'm thinking that's the reason that they got that, because it's a detective looking at AI. So it's like with the magnifying glass. And so I think that's where the gumshoe comes from.
I see. I'm in agreement with you that I think reporting is going to be a little bit easier as these tools mature up. I think eventually, I've heard Perplexity beginning to do that, but I think ChatGPT will do it too, and the rest of the tools. I think Google would probably do it first. Is they will have some sort of, how Google has Search Console and Bing have Webmaster Tools. I think they're going to have some sort of backend where you can measure this stuff. They don't quite have it yet, but I think they will eventually have to have it. And I think attribution would be a lot easier, the storytelling. And I just like right now we are early stages. There's also, you mentioned something really interesting. AI executives are trying to replace the CMOs with AI. This is actually happening across the board. People have fired their content writers and then they had to rehire them back like 6 months later. I have seen junior level programmers were laid off and then they were rehired later because they thought the senior guys, like, I don't need the junior guys anymore. I'll do the work. But then they end up using more time prompting AI, figuring things out. And there's also the risk of hallucinations and making stuff up, right? And then they're like, no, we need a junior programmer. It literally happened to one of our clients. And so they had to bring that guy back. And the guy even asked for more money. Hey, I was without a job for 3 months. And same deal with content. But the content writing job is changing to becoming more of a content strategist, which I like anyways.
Oh my God. Yeah. I have, unfortunately, there's two copywriters in my network that both left the industry because they wanted to write. They didn't want AI to write. They didn't want to use AI as a strategy tool. Those kinds of people, they're happy. They're doing their own thing. So that's good for them. But if you're not staying on top of it, you're going to lose out. And that's one of the things. I have a marketing team. I talk to them about it all the time. I'm like, if you do not incorporate this, you will not have a job. It's really simple. It's black and white. It's 100%. Like the next thing, but the AI came after copywriters. Next thing is design's getting better and better and better. If you put
Oh yeah.
something in last year in some of these tools, it was humorous how horrible it was. And now it's getting so good. That's going to be the next folks are going to go. But the thing is, just like you said, Al, there's going to be hallucinations. You still need strategy. You can't just say, make me a pretty picture. What's the strategy behind it? What do you guys actually need? What is the bigger multi-channel marketing campaign that you're working on?
Yeah.
You need a human for that. And that's going to stay. So that's not going to go away. But if that human doesn't use AI on a daily basis, that human is not going to have a job in marketing.
No, you're 100% correct. This podcast, this interview is going to be edited by AI. I don't have time to edit it. So I have this tool called Descript, which I use it for editing. And then there's Opus Clip, which turn into a bunch of shorts. So even this tool that we use provides shorts. The banners on our blog, they're all created in AI because I don't have, but we still use our designer for creating really awesome stuff.
Yeah.
And she even likes AI because she can provide more concepts a lot faster. So you gotta, like, I think it was the founder of Nvidia said that I don't know if AI is going to replace people, but it's going to replace people that don't know how to use it or something along those lines. So definitely get on it. And one recommendations I have to all the marketers: learn how to prompt, because I took a prompt engineering course. I like to learn stuff academically, so I don't. So I took a prompt engineering course in Coursera. I paid for the tool for a year. I occasionally log in and take a bunch of courses over a weekend when I'm bored. And my AI game changed just because I knew how to prompt better now. You know, it's just there's a huge difference when you tell ChatGPT act as a SEO content writer versus to just say, hey, write a blog post for me. Just that 4 words that you put in front of it, act as a seasoned SEO content writer. The content you're going to produce for SEO is going to change dramatically. It's just powerful stuff, and I'm excited. I'm cautious, excited. I was more scared of it early on because I'm like, being self-employed or whatever. I'm like, but now I'm like, okay, this is actually going to help me. This is as long as I'm on top of it. So you got to, 100% agree with you. You got to stay on top of this stuff.
One of the things with the prompts, which is interesting that a lot of people don't know, is even when you use a prompt and say, could you please write this blog post versus write this blog post, it actually changes your behavior and it changes your output.
Wow.
When you're very much, I don't know, like wishy-washy, the AI becomes wishy-washy. If you're really direct, do it this way. And like you said, have a prompt, be the best agency owner in the world and give me this. It's such a different output. And a lot of people don't really believe that, but there's already been reports out, studies out. You need to learn how to prompt. So I love that you're staying on top of all of that.
Yeah, and there's prompt tools out there. If you don't feel like it, there's a prompt tool that one of my guests had started called Prompt AA, promptaa.com. So you can also get help. There's also a lot of people have created really awesome prompts on the internet, but the tone is very important too. And the other day, I learned this from the Google co-founder, where he said that sometimes you got to make threats for it to get it right. I've never made threats, but when I prompt, I'm like, do it this way. If you don't do it this way, there will be losses, financial losses, and it will double check its work. I'm going to give an example. I just said, we need a table of content, but we need to make sure the content is 100% accurate, or there will be financial losses. We will get legally sued or something like that. And then it produces something. Okay, let me double check that data, and then it produced something else. Basically, self-corrected. And I was pretty amazed. I'm like, I didn't even have to tell it. It produced a table, and then it's you know what? I think this table has a problem. Let me self-correct it. Or use deep research when you're like you got to tell it, because the active is a different part of the AI brain or algorithm, whatever you want to call it, to retrieve. Like when you say, hey, provide me this, let's say for this automotive industry client that we have, hey, provide us the sales 2025 used car sales. And when it just gives you some number, it will give you some numbers. And when you literally say provide that using deep research and reasoning and stay factual, or else it will be losses, it will produce a different kind of number. So it's amazing how different things can be just with a few words of prompt differences. So
Yeah.
Anyhow, we are coming to time. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. You wanted to
No, I
ask?
just said love it. Love it.
Yeah. We come to time. I'd like to ask you, as a recap, specifically what type of services you offer, where people can find you, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, if you need help with marketing and you want to set up your homepage or you want to learn how to implement GEO, Generative Engine Optimization, on your website, or you want to learn the marketing startup system that kind of leads you through the journey, the funnel, go to cmogrowthguide.com and you will see courses there and I'll help you out.
Cool. Okay, so I like to end this podcast or this interviews with a couple of personal questions, non-work related, that is. So if you don't mind, I have three of them for you. First of all, what are some of your hobbies when you're not working?
Yeah. My hobbies right now are mountain biking. I'm
Cool.
totally into e-bike, so I cheat a little bit, but I live right in the mountains, so I go at my house and I go up the mountains and I mountain bike with all the young kids.
You went like this, mountains. So you live in the mountain area, right? Colorado, you said earlier? Cool.
Yes, I live in the foothills of the Colorado Springs Mountains.
Oh, good for you. Cold winters, right?
Yes, we got snow.
Cold and dry, yeah. Awesome. Awesome. All right. And what are some of your latest books or articles or even video Netflix shows that you watched recently that you like to recommend?
Oh, I watch the world's worst TV. I Love Island UK, Love Island Australia. I watch on a laptop. My husband sits on the couch. I sit on the floor. I don't know why. And he watches my stuff, Love Island, and he just closes his eyes and shakes his head. And he's like, how can you watch this? It's so bad. Guilty pleasure. Love it.
Very cool. Okay, the last one is a little weird, but if you could be a superhero, what would it be?
Oh my gosh, a superhero, what could it be? Honestly, I think I'd just be Wonder Woman because she looks cool.
Yeah,
That's it.
very
Just
cool.
because she looks cool.
Yeah, you can't see a total comic nerd. I'm a Star Wars guy. That's I don't know if you let me.
Is that a lightsaber?
Yeah, and that's me. I'm both a Sith and a Jedi because I've always this internal struggle. Do I want to tell that bad client to f off or do I want to be nice?
Depends on the
dependent
budget, right?
depend on the budget and my mood and where I'm at financially. Now that this economy is making me more of a Jedi.
But you really want to be on the dark
I
side.
really want to be in the dark side and take a hike.
Yeah, every marketing consultant agrees with you.
Andrea, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate knowing you and having given me the time to have this conversation. I hope we can work together down the road. And again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.